weeks back, Republic TV carried out the interview. In fact, we invited Sandip Singh, who claimed he was a very close friend of Sushant Singh Rajput. In the course of that interview, he also said that he hadn't met Sushant Singh for several months. But somehow he ends up at the crime scene. He's in charge of the entire situation. And after we showed you the visuals of how Sandip Singh was also at the Cooper hospital, in charge of the entire situation and with Sushant Singh's sister, Meetu, we have accessed some more details that raise questions about this character called Sandip Singh. In an interview that was recorded, I think nearly 10 days after Sushant Singh Rajput was murdered, Sandip Singh, in an interview to a portal, says that he was asked to get personal details and PAN card, Aadhaar card, etc. of Sushant Singh Rajput, and he managed to get access to it. The question is, how did he have access to all of this? Take a look. June 14th, when Sushant Singh Rajput was found dead, one man planted himself at the crime scene. Sushant's self-proclaimed friend, Sandip Singh. A day later, he para-dropped at the Cooper hospital. Standing next to Sushant's sister, giving a thumbs up to the policeman, and even seen with a paper in his hand and instructing those around him. Those who were at the hospital have revealed that he was trying to stage manage the police.
तो ऑफिसर तब मुझे कहते हैं कि आप कौन हैं? Who are you? किस लिए आए हो यहाँ पे? मैंने कहा सर मैं किस लिए आया हूँ, मतलब अभी 1 घंटा हो गया आप मेरे साथ यहाँ खड़े, हम सब कार्रवाई करें, हम आप देख रहे हो मुझे, अब आप मुझे पूछ रहे हो कौन है? तो मैंने सूरज सिंह जी को कहा, मैं कि सूरज सिंह जी बताइए साहब सर को, और मैंने ये भी कहा सर मुझे यहाँ पे आपके जो कांस्टेबल वगैरह जो हैं वो सब मुझे जानते हैं सर, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि मैं कहीं यहाँ से। दूसरी बात, नीरज सिंह जी से मेरी बात हुई है फ़ोन पे, और हम इस परिवार को सांत्वना देने के लिए आए हैं, राजपूत भाई था हमारा, इसलिए हम आए हैं यहाँ पे।
Sandip's body language and actions are indicative of the fact that there was something suspicious. And now, Sandip Singh's interview that has been uploaded on a digital platform 11 days after Sushant's death has raised many questions.
बार-बार जो एक प्रोसीजर होता है कि ये पेपर पे साइन करना है, ये पहचान दीजिए, अब सुशांत का पैन कार्ड लेकर आ जाइए, अब उसका आधार कार्ड लेकर आ जाइए, इसके जेरोक्स कॉपी ले आइए।
Here are the inconsistencies. Why did Sandip Singh say there was no family member when Meetu was present at the Cooper hospital? Who authorized Sandip Singh with paperwork at the hospital when close family friends revealed that he came in uninvited?
Sandip Singh is not known to anybody in the family. If he says that I'm a very, very close friend of Sushant, I have not seen him since last 2 years at least anywhere close to him. None of his family members, including the sister, he was keeping his hand bade aaram se on her shoulder and clicking pictures by his PR, was all his PR.
How did Sandip Singh get access to Sushant's PAN card and Aadhaar card when he admitted on Republic TV that he wasn't in touch with Sushant for the last 10 months?
What was the condition in which you found Sushant?
Yeah. I'll tell you as soon as we reached, in about 10 minutes, Sushant's body was carried by a police person to a stretcher, and Mahesh Shetty and we were standing.
If Sandip claims he got Sushant's PAN card and Aadhaar card, who gave it to him? Does this mean that he had access to Sushant's belongings and even the crime scene? Sandip Singh will be investigated by the CBI. His role seems to have become central to the truth in the case. A Republic TV investigative report. While we talk about Shehzad Poonawalla is joining us live on this story, and the story of Sandip Singh. Shehzad, on the 31st of July, that's almost a month ago, we questioned him on the debate. In fact, we invited him on the interview, and we knew that there were several questions around this man, Sandip Singh. We questioned him, his versions did not match. And now, we've been exposing him day after day because something does not add up. Even the family says we don't know how he landed up and took control of the situation. He had a list in hand. He did not allow several people to come close to Cooper hospital. It was almost as if he was in control at Cooper. And now this interview, he claims that he had to sign on the documents, that he had to sign on the PAN card, Aadhaar card, and that he had access to it. That's what he's hinting at. So how did he get access? What do you think the CBI should do in the case of Sandip Singh?
Niranjan, first of all, congratulations on your relentless coverage on this entire issue, and you've got this success by making sure that a CBI probe is now ordered into this. But, Mr. Sandeep Singh, the shadiest character around, he was not in touch with Sushant. He suddenly lands up on 14th. After that, he takes charge of the situation. He's giving thumbs up to the Mumbai police, using Me Too Singh as a passport to gain access into unauthorized areas. And I don't know why Mumbai police was giving him this access. Then he's at Cooper Hospital, again another thumbs up, a suspicious phone call, and apparently now this interview that you've put out, he had access to the PAN card and Aadhaar cards of Sushant. Now if the family member is there, why would the Mumbai police allow such an unknown person to get unauthorized access and to access his personal details or personal laptop or personal things with him like the PAN card and Aadhaar? I heard on another interview, and I'm going to try and send it to you and to others also, that he said apparently he removed this card from the wallet of Sushant Singh. How was he allowed to touch the person of Sushant Singh after Sushant Singh is no longer alive? I feel that Sandeep Singh was sent there by somebody. He was coordinating on the phone with somebody. He was giving a thumbs up and giving an indication that the scene had been cleared out. This is a complete compromise of the crime scene by the Mumbai police. Mumbai police also knew that Sandeep was representing a powerful force, and therefore they were allowing him this access to touch even the body and the wallet of Sushant, to remove the PAN card and Aadhaar. He was controlling the entry and exit, and then he started giving these interviews defending the nepotism angle. He said in one of the interviews, or maybe the same interview, कि nepotism सब जगह होता है. Karan Johar, Aditya Chopra बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं. And it was only when Arnab questioned Sandeep Singh, this man has gone underground. Just understand one thing, ever since Arnab did not give him a platform to do this PR for the nepotism angle, and he asked some tough questions, this Sandeep Singh has gone underground. After that, he has stopped giving interviews. So you know a person when he starts behaving so strangely, and he has done inconsistent remarks. He said he was at home during lockdown. Sanjay Nirupam says, "ये हमारे साथ बैठा था, बिहारी boys के साथ बैठा था." He is saying that suicide नहीं हो सकता सुशांत का. He had said this on Arnab's interview. In another interview, he has said कि भाई इसने ऐसा कदम क्यों उठा लिया, हमें समझ नहीं आ रहा. So in another interview, depending on the platform, he is saying that, oh no, Sushant did suicide. So these inconsistencies, the way he's defending the big forces, I call it the mafia Bollywood Aghadi, and he is a representative planted by this mafia Bollywood Aghadi in collusion with the Mahavikas Aghadi, and that's why he got access to all these things.
Yeah, talking about the access that Sandeep Singh got to not just the crime scene but the entire circumstances, and I want to bring in Prakash here. Prakash and Anuj are also live. Prakash, you spoke to the forensic expert who's been roped in by the CBI. Dr. Sudhir Gupta says he's shocked with the manner in which the crime scene was contaminated. In Arnab's interview on the debate on the 31st of July, this Sandeep Singh also said, "I received a call from the police, but they have not taken my statement yet." He was never called in. And then yesterday, Surjit Singh, who Republic TV tracked down, seen with Riya, he said, "I gave a written complaint on the 31st of July to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, marked it to the Home Minister of Maharashtra, marked it to the Mumbai Police Commissioner, marked it to the DCP who's under the scanner, and spoke to Riya." And he says, despite all of this and a meeting and an assurance, this guy was never called in. So he tells Arnab, "I was never questioned." And this guy, and the second guy, Surjit, says, "I wrote a complaint, formal complaint, formal complaint." You know, in February they said there was no formal complaint given. In this case, formal complaint written and given, and he was never called for investigation. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's more obvious. Look at how obvious it's turning out to be. And the crime scene was contaminated. He said, "I went there, I was outside the room, I was all over the place." Visuals are proving it. Prakash?
Well, Niranjan, Sandeep Singh has been caught in his own web of lies and deceit, I must say, because ever since he came on the forefront of managing the events leading to Sandeep Singh cremation, he's been very deceitful, suspicious, and initially he tried to protect nepotism in the Bollywood. And the videos that you have got, Niranjan, when we spoke to me last and when we were talking, that if you look at his eyes and the body language, the psychiatrist and the psychologist would certainly ascertain that he's got speaking eyes on that very stage. It seems that he's speaking through his eyes and trying to direct someone something. And later on, Surjit Singh also confirmed and corroborated the fact that Riya Chakravarti has actually gone inside. Now, the call details of both Riya Chakravarti, Sandip Singh should be ascertained. Maybe they would have been talking on encrypted WhatsApp call. Second, he's been claiming that he was his friend, but he appeared from nowhere after 1 year. Not only friend, closest friend. Buddies from Bihar, and they wanted to rule the Bollywood. That's what he said. But he appeared from nowhere after 1 year. And when I spoke to the family members, they said that Meetu, the sister who was present there, she was distraught and in a state of despair, and she had no one to help her out after the demise of her brother. So Sandip was there. He emerged from nowhere. So therein the suspicion lies. And now the question is, why did not the Mumbai police question him, despite there were several theories doing the round, and even in Arnab's show he was uncomfortable. He could not ask questions. He'd been trying to get in touch with the family, but the family is not talking to him because they feel that he is suspicious. So the CBI should interrogate him thoroughly, threadbare, because he looks a suspicious guy for sure. Because if we look at the videos that you got, Niranjan, the other day of the post-mortem that was being done, Sandip Singh's presence and Riya Chakravarti coming yesterday, Surjit Singh's confession, tells a lot of his story, and that needs to be unraveled. And now that Mr. Sudhir Gupta, the chairman of the AIMS board, has also confirmed that the crime scene has been contaminated, and it will be difficult to come to terms with what happened. But even then, they will try and ascertain it. They need 10 to 15 days time before they could analyze the papers. They have demanded the certain papers like the forensic evidences, post-mortem report, and then they will be asking, getting in touch with the doctors concerned, and thereafter they would be submitting the report.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, because, we're getting in more details of the questioning. Before I go across to Anuj, one question from Shehzad. Shehzad, we just heard, and we broke the story about an hour ago, that the CBI team, which was at the Bandra station, police station, was going to question the Mumbai police on the autopsy, on why a second opinion was not taken. Now just look at how everything is falling into place, right? At the crime scene, you had that shady character in pink cap inside the room with a black bag, hand the black bag to the police, came in ambulance 1, left in ambulance 2, was at Cooper Hospital removing the body. He's everywhere, right? And then you have Sandip Singh in control of the situation at Cooper, at home, at the cremation, 14th and 15th, completely in control, right? Yeah. And then you have the police, which did not take a second opinion. And in that autopsy report, time of death not mentioned, injury not mentioned, facial paralysis details not mentioned. Crucial. Look at how it's all falling in place. It is so obvious.
And Niranjan, I would say in the last 67, 68 days, it was the world's biggest cover-up job done by the world's so-called best police under the world's so-called best CM to perhaps save the world's so-called best Yuva Neta, because the level of collusion, I mean, Maharashtra police, Mumbai police is very professional. They will not allow a crime scene to be desecrated. I don't even use the word compromise. I would say it was a desecration of the crime scene, a desecration of the entire mortuary where Riya can enter. You have people doing thumbs up to the police and then taking the sister. The sister is available at one place. Why couldn't you ask the sister for the personal details of Sushant if you needed to complete some formalities? Ye Sandip Singh tapak पड़ता है, sorry for the language, ये टपक पड़ता है किसी से लगातार. He is talking to somebody and coordinating something, and he then starts giving a narrative and trying to protect and shield somebody. The Maharashtra police, the Mumbai police very well knew that this Sandip Singh is somebody's representative. Otherwise, can anybody have such access to a crime scene? Point number one. Point number two, my question to Republic TV is that now when the CBI enters on day 67, 68, even if they have complete integrity and complete professionalism, Boss, the Mumbai police has destroyed the crime scene. They have allowed the autopsy and the postmortem to be conducted in such a way the body is no longer there. How are we ever going to arrive at the truth? Because they have buried all the facts and the truths. So even if we get some elements, how are we going to arrive at this truth? And all the questions you're raising is very important. But today you have to, CBI has to question the police inspectors and the police officers.
Yes.
They have to question those people who allowed Riya to go there, who are doing guftagu with Riya, who are allowing Sandip this access, and Sandip. They all need to be questioned. Their phones need to be taken, and we need to investigate what they were doing.